Hello and welcome to Dice Shrapnel. My name's Jimmy. I'm going to be the regular game master for this group of miscreants. Hope you enjoy.
My name's Brett. I play Joshua Johnson. He is a 31-year-old white male who's approximately 5'10" and has a medium build with blonde hair and blue eyes. Brown hair, and blue eyes.
Hi, my name is Jake. I play the character Thomas Kahn. He's a mid-30s Vietnam vet, ham radio operator, substitute school teacher, kind of pudgy, somewhat smart, kind of geekish, nerdish, and tends to put things in his mouth a lot.
My name is Daryl. I play Ross Thibodeau. I'm 5'6", 240 pounds. I've got red shoulder-length hair with green eyes. Obviously, I'm a white guy, 26 years old, kind of tending towards the gut.
I'm Mark. I play Trevor Smith. Appear to be a middle-aged white guy, dark black hair, wears glasses, little heavy set, kind of nerdish. There you go.
My name is Danny. My character is Gwendolyn Mitchell, who also goes by Gwen. She's a fiery redhead with freckles all over her face and gray eyes. She has a similar build to myself, 5 foot, 110 pounds, and she is an author.
January 5th, 1985. Israeli Prime Minister Shimon Peres revealed details of Operation Moses in a press conference, resulting in its termination by the government of Sudan. In 7 weeks of operation, the covert cooperative operation by the Israeli Defense Forces, the Central Intelligence Agency, the United States Embassy in Khartoum, mercenaries, and Sudanese state security forces had evacuated about 8,000 Jewish refugees from Sudan to Israel via Brussels, Belgium. Also on January 5th, 1985, the feast day of St. John Newman was celebrated by Catholics, and the holiday of Mung Day was celebrated by Discordians. January 7th, 1985, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency launched Sakagaki, Japan's first interplanetary spacecraft and the first deep space probe to be launched by any country other than the United States or the Soviet Union. We also have on January 7th, 1985, a meeting of sorts planned with the mayor of Dallas, Texas. The question is, does he know this? Pretty sure the answer is no. We will pick up roughly where we left off with last gaming session. Thomas Kahn had been making contact with some people, trying to get together a group of people to help with the delivery of a package to the mayor. When, after getting off the phone with JJ, Joshua Johnson, gets a knock on the door.
Hello. Hey, Josh, it's me.
No, Thomas.
Oh, Thomas, I'm sorry.
Josh is Brett.
What's going on?
Hey, I just checking in on you, seen anything different lately?
Oh, dude, you have no idea. There's been some weird stuff going on.
Do tell.
Well, you know that author Gwendolyn
Mitchell.
Well, we went to her book signing, a few of us, and some guy was asking around about kind of cryptic style about traveling men, and ended up passing me an envelope that has a very risque / damning photograph in it, and I was told to get this to the mayor. It's kind of yeah, I'm telling you, it's messed up. But we've got a plan that we're going to try to get it to him personally, so it holds as little fallout as possible.
I can't believe you're leaving out the silliest part.
So,
Oh, and before all that happens, it's raining frogs. And the frogs are mutilated, like, not mutilated, but they're deformed.
Mutated.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't look natural.
Do you happen to have any of these frogs?
A couple people may have pocketed one or two.
Did I happen to hear about any of this?
It was an extremely isolated incident.
Localized event.
Localized event. It happened at a local mall.
Yeah, it happened at the mall where
where my book
Gwendolyn
signing was.
Yeah,
was doing her book signing. Before we got out of our vehicles and inside, it like almost immediately it was raining like frogs in kind of a gelatinous clear liquid, and as soon as it hit the ground, it pretty much evaporated.
No, it did not
I
evaporate.
thought it did. Oh, my bad.
Because you remember you were
Yeah.
liquid. And people were
I
accusing you
tasted
of people were accusing you of licking frogs because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or kissing frogs.
And also because you have the Illuminated, you realize that the liquid as well as the frogs were part of a conspiracy somewhere.
True.
Okay. Very different. Have I seen or heard of anything of this in my times?
Okay. First, I would look at whether or not you have any meteorological skills. If you don't have meteorology,
I don't think I took No, not meteorology.
okay. In that case, go with science.
Where some
Rollers.
5,
knows.
11. I got 13, and my science is 11, so no.
Okay, you've heard of weird phenomena, but seeing something this localized seems odd.
Okay.
Beyond that, you're positive you would need to do some research in order to find out anything more on that. The best that you've got is some conjecture that has been out in the ether as far as that goes.
Okay.
But you've never heard of anybody actually having a verifiable incident of, a rain of frogs.
Okay.
Personally.
Other than like the biblical stuff.
Yes, the biblical, rain of frogs sort of stuff. That's the plague of frogs. Not exactly the same sort of thing, because this is extremely small and extremely localized.
One of the other bizarre things, some of the frogs, but not all of the frogs, had almost like a brand on their skin.
What did it look like?
I don't remember.
Do you have a picture of it?
That would fall into the category of it's probably going to be easier to show you.
Yeah.
And Jake, can you speak up a tiny bit because I can barely hear you over
Okay.
here.
It would just be easier to show you.
All right, let's go see these things.
Are you just going to drive over to his place?
He's the one that's got the frogs, correct? Or a
Yeah.
frog.
I've got a frog in a jar.
Actually, you've got 2 in a jar
Well,
because he ended up leaving his
Right,
there
with me.
With you. He ushered him out and he left the bag
So
behind.
we've got actually both sets,
both types of frogs.
both types of frogs.
One of each. So when you realized that his bag was left behind, you got a larger jar to throw the second one in,
Right.
and poke some holes in
I'm
the
going to
lid.
go outside when I'm walking my dog and throw some grass in there. You know.
Right.
To imitate their natural surroundings.
Yeah, I'm going to... Well, they fell out of the sky. How natural is that?
Could be sky frogs.
Right. Yeah.
New species.
Never thought of
Aircraft bombing.
that. Yeah.
And if it is a new species, that's awfully invasive.
Yeah, just a typical drive-by froggy.
It's a run-by fluting. Okay. So, yeah, you don't have his telephone number.
Actually, I gave my phone number to everybody.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, at the mall. So, you
Okay.
do have his phone number. You can give him a call.
Well, we'll have to give the guy a
Forgot
call
about
that's
My
got
character only received his.
has the
but-
frogs actually at his place. I assume they're at his house, but we'll have to call. He's an EMT, so I'm not sure if he's working right now or if he's home. So we'll have to give him a jingle and see what's going on.
Okay, and it is right about, let's see, at this point in the day, that would have been about 5 p.m. So if you were to call right now, you're going to get an answering machine.
Keep. I call.
What's your answering machine say?
Well, it says, "A, you've reached Ross. Well, Ross's machine. Please leave a message." Beep. Yep. That's what it says.
Hey Ross, this is Thomas, and I've got somebody that wants to see the frogs. Give me a call back when you can. When would be a good time to meet? He has a little bit of background in bizarre things, so if you can meet with us, the sooner the better. Give me a call back. Thanks.
1 second. You also have the meeting that's supposed to happen at between 7 and 7:30 this evening. 7 is when the mayor is supposed to be doing the presentation.
Crap.
And you were going to catch him afterwards. You're expecting it's going to be about 7:30 to 8 when he's done.
Okay.
So
I
is
will-
that
I will let him know about that as well.
add that to the message?
Yeah.
Hey, we're also going to go see the mayor at Channel 9 News Station.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you were working AMs, so you get off at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Doing 12s. When you get home,
Now I work 12 hours on, and then it's 24 off, and then I work 12 hours again, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I wanted to make sure because I was thinking they were on working 24 hours and off 48, working another 40 or 24 hours.
Right.
So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking they were on the ABC instead of the 12-hour shifts. So
Okay.
what do you want me? Do you want me to do the ABC or do the 12 hours? I mean, it would be easier for me to do the ABC shift. You're either on A shift for 24 hours. Once you get off, you have 2 days off, and then you have to go back in at 6 a.m.
Well, when we led off with you were getting off at 6 p.m. because so doing 12s is probably going to be
Okay.
the most consistent, and you'd probably be working with the alternating.
Right.
So for like a month you're doing AMs, then for a month you're doing PMs.
Oh, okay.
Like
Okay.
2 on, 3 off, 2 on, 3 off, or something like that.
Okay. That sounds good to me.
Okay. So, and actually, that being said, you wouldn't have to have left a message because of work. He was out shopping. He shows up like 5 minutes after you leave the message.
And I will review, of course, my mess. I'll call. Will I get him if I call?
He hadn't reasonably had reason to leave yet.
Okay. Hey.
Well, before he calls me back, I'll explain to him about the message that was with the photograph and with the translation.
Do explain, because he hasn't seen the episode, so he doesn't know exactly what went down.
With that envelope that had the photograph in it was a message that seemed to have been written in code. We've got that figured out, and it turned out that it was also in a foreign language. We got that translated, and basically it sounds like it's the Masons are telling this guy to get his ducks in a row and to take care of his trash, basically.
And
There's supposed to be more information broadcast at a certain radio frequency that's in the ham radio spectrum on Tuesday night, if I remember right. Wasn't it a Tuesday? Wednesday night.
It's supposed to be the 10th.
That's right.
Did you take the note home?
It's in the binder, but I remember what it says.
Yeah.
So I can.
Also, we're all going to meet at my house on Wednesday about an hour before that the message is supposed to take place. I'll fire up my equipment, get it warmed up, and that way we can hopefully tune it in and listen, if not copy the message as we need it.
Like copy, what do you mean?
Transcribe.
Okay, you're just going to write it out, or you... Okay.
So like reel to reel.
Well, I could do that. I do have recording
Cassette.
capability.
Okay, so reel to reel or a cassette player or / recorder, that either one of those would
I've got a beautiful Sony reel to reel, so
Okay. So,
Okay.
all right, and phone has started ringing while he was finishing up the discussion on that.
Okay.
hello, this is Thomas.
Hey Thomas, this is Ross. I had a message to call you. Yeah, if you want to come over and see. Wait a minute, was that on a message?
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to come over and see, I actually have one of each over here because was it Josh left?
Yeah.
Josh left his over, and so I've got one with the marking and one that's mutated.
Okay.
Any time is fine. I'm off for the next 24 hours. So.
Do you wanna try to meet before we go to try to catch the mayor, or do you want to do this?
Well, I've
afterwards?
got some things to do. My puppy is being annoying, and I've got to take him for a walk. Let's do it afterwards.
Okay. Well,
I wasn't going to the meeting.
That we're going to try to get you to go to the meeting.
We were inviting
We
everyone.
were. Everybody was being invited,
Okay,
so
well,
that
let's
you
go-
could go in mass.
Let's go to the meeting and then do that afterwards. Come over to my place afterwards.
that should work. I'll visit with my friend
Okay.
and we'll just make plans to go over there afterwards.
Okay. That sounds good to me. Bye.
All right. Bye.
And as soon as I hang up, I'm taking my dog out and doing things. Getting ready to go to the meeting.
Okay. So, going to the meeting, inviting. You didn't end up telling him specifically where or when.
Yeah.
And he
As
didn't
far
ask.
as
You were going to go see the mayor, but you didn't tell him what time.
I thought we had left that on the message.
Yeah. Whenever
You
we
didn't
were.
say the time, you said where.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're going to go to Channel 9 News.
And you didn't say the time.
All right.
So whenever we talk, we'll discuss when and where.
I'm going to go ahead and we can retcon to include the fact that you would have, because he was taking into account what he'd actually heard in game,
Right.
rather than just what his character actually knew. The metagaming is real. It's not always intended. Sometimes it seeps in without realizing. I didn't tell him important things, but he knows because he was sitting right next to me in the real world.
And I literally didn't know, but you know.
So, all right. That being said, are we expecting then that the two of you would be riding together? I'm sure that you're not driving.
Yep.
I'm going to take my truck.
Okay, and you would be driving separately. You would be driving separately. Okay. Sounds like a plan. At that time, the Illuminati struck. You may have noticed, as the game progressed, there were bouts of static in the recording. That was background static from an attack from an orbital mind control laser trying to control this mind. The Illuminati wanted to make certain that the unfolding events were censored from you, the viewer. They finally succeeded. We stopped filming in order to have an intermission, take a nice little break, and wait for Brett to arrive for the game. When he arrived, that attack was successful in preventing me from hitting the record button. The remainder of the gaming session went unrecorded. Joshua Johnson, Thomas Kahn, Ross Thibodeau, Trevor Smith, and Gwendolyn Mitchell all found their way to the Channel 9 news station in downtown Dallas, Texas. Upon arriving, they found a nice corner in the main lobby area where they spoke in hushed tones about what was going on with the mayor. They explained poorly that they were in possession of blackmail material, and, well, reasonably so, Trevor thought that they were intentionally trying to blackmail the mayor. And if they weren't trying actively, then they were being unwitting dupes and they were in over their head. He advised them that they should burn the envelope and all of its contents and forget anything ever happened with the mayor. Not wanting to be any part of what was going on with the mayor, he walked out of the main lobby area onto the street and started beating feet home. Before leaving, he made certain to express that he still had an interest in studying the frogs, and that whenever they were ready to do that, get a hold of him then. Until then, I want nothing to do with this. Shortly after Trevor Smith left the news station, the interview concluded between the mayor and the journalist, and he was soon escorted into the lobby area by two men, obviously a security detail. Gwendolyn approached, with Joshua Johnson not far behind, and she began a tirade or explanation of how much she appreciates what he has done for the city, and had wanted to present to him a book that had been left behind at her book signing. Joshua Johnson, trying to end the awkward exchange, stepped forward and stated, Mr. Taylor, the envelope inside the book has contents that are for your eyes only. He then walked to the door and opened it, at which point the remaining party members exited. The mayor and his security detail remained behind shortly, or for a brief period of time thereafter. Once they got outside, paranoia set in. They began searching the area in order to determine whether or not anything was out of the ordinary, and they realized there was additional security detail members outside in the parking lot area as well as the front lawn area. They likely had been watched when they arrived and were likely being watched now. They made arrangements to go to Godfather's Pizza in order to follow up. A couple of them actually went, ordered pizza, and Thomas Kahn called to make arrangements to pick up Trevor Smith so that they could discuss the frogs. Fast forward about 30 minutes, and they're finally at Ross Thibodeau's. Pizza in hand, frogs in the oven. Trevor's able to come to the same conclusions that the rest of the group had. First and foremost, that the mutated frogs are suffering from forced hermaphroditization. The second being that the frogs that are branded with the elder sign likely were protected from that process. He has arranged with the rest of the group, he being Trevor Smith, to take the frogs and dissect them the following day in order to determine if there's any scientific or occult knowledge he can glean from their dissected bodies. It was also explained to him that the remainder of the frogs, in large number, had been collected by Boy Scouts of America. The Boy Scouts were from various troops, which are likely not actually members of the local community. Some supposition had been put forth that the troops were from Arkansas or Kansas, and they determined that the best way of verifying any of this is to contact the Boy Scouts of America directly. A quick search of the phone book determined that there was a ready and available number to call in the area. Joshua Johnson made a call, left a message to have someone call him back in order to discuss options for volunteering his services to the Boy Scouts. After that concluded, everyone went their separate ways. Gwendolyn, upon arriving home, checked her answering machine and found a message from the mayor. It stated, "Young lady, that young man that was with you in the station, he didn't identify himself as such, but I'm hoping he's a traveling man, because I'm in dire need of help, and a traveling man would provide that sort of assistance. Please give me a call so that we can set up a time that we can meet and discuss exactly what was in the envelope, as I'm reasonably certain that both of you already know. I look forward to hearing from you." Well, Gwendolyn couldn't restrain herself, and at 11:23 at night, she gave a phone call to Joshua Johnson. He answered groggily, and she started telling him exactly what had happened with regards to the message, and his response was, "It's 11:30 at night. I'll talk to you tomorrow," and he hung up. We will be picking up the next gaming session with the following morning. Gwendolyn discussing with the rest of the group where they're going to go from there, as well as possibly assisting with the dissection of the frogs. I would say that's a fair summary of the events that occurred. Hope this fills the gap.